welcome back to another episode of What the Smut Book Reviews. Hi, my name is Candice. Thank you for joining me for another episode. I really appreciate it. In today's video, we're back on our Fiona Cole-ish with, what are we on, book 4? Fuck off, Instagram. Oh my God. Sorry, excuse me. That was so rude. What are we on now? Book 4, right? Right? I think. In today's video, we will be doing a quick review for this book. It's called Another by Fiona Cole. This is book 4 in the Voyeur series. This is Karina's book. Okay. Here's the dealio with Karina. Okay, if you, stop it. Go in order of what you're supposed to be doing. We'll talk about this later. Anyway, this book and all the books in this series are free to read with KU. If you would like to purchase this book for your Kindle, you can get it for the price of $4.99. $4.99. If you would like the lovely trade paperback with the cover that I showed a few minutes ago, I don't have it here. I've ordered it. It's coming, but it hasn't shown up yet. Fucking Amazon. If you would like that that beautiful trade paperback, you can get it for the price of $14.99. This book is also an audio. Now, I want to say Teddy Hamilton was the one who did the male narration for this audio, and I don't know what's going on in the romance audiobook community. But I feel like every book that I've read for like the last 20 books, that I've listened to for the last like 20 books has been narrated by fucking Teddy Hamilton. I understand he's like in demand. It even says so on Instagram, on the audiobook page for this book. It says he's an in-demand, very popular narrator. And that is true. And he does have a very hot voice. But I can only take so much goodness at one time. And I feel like I'm inundated with Teddy Hamilton. So we gotta chill. I need somebody that's not Teddy Hamilton. And don't say Sebastian York, because you know how I feel about that. If you don't know how I feel about that, it's probably because I don't like going on and openly bashing people like on Instagram, narrators, authors, whatever. And this space here is a positive place that I don't like to go bashing. So we're just gonna say that I've been getting a lot of Teddy Hamilton lately. And I need to switch things up because I feel like every book has been narrated by Teddy Hamilton. So, anyway, let's move on, shall we? Before I get myself in hot water. So, I'm going to be very honest, and I'm going to say that I stopped taking notes for this book after like the first third of the book. Because I just got so wrapped up in listening to it and in the story that I was just like, I don't have time to take notes. I don't want to take notes. I usually listen to these audiobooks when I drive, when I'm in the car. How am I writing? There's no way. Anyway, so what we have done in my previous few videos and the new format that I'm trying out is, instead of me giving you every plot point of the book, I literally just read you what I wrote down in my reading journal, which, if you haven't seen, this is my reading journal. This is where I keep my notes for all the books I read, which is good because my brain is garbage, as you know, and without it, I would die. So, I'm gonna read what I had so far, and then I'll have to just give you a brief overview of the rest. Does that make sense? But first, what we're gonna do is read the blurb because we need to. Let's see. Also, side note, yes, I did get my nose pierced. It hurt a little. It hurt a little. I eventually will put a hoop in it, but for now, there's a stud there. So, okay. Now, product description on Amazon. It took me a solid minute to find the actual review for the book, because within where the description is, typically you only see like just the blurb, right? No, on this one, and I don't know if it was just the audio version or what, but it has like literally 5 reviews from other people, like snippets that have been taken from other people where they've reviewed this book. And then there's the product description, which is the blurb, which is about this big. And then after that, there's an about the author note, which is like literally the author note is longer than the blurb itself. I don't know. But to be fair, she did put like notes in there about both narrators for the audio. So maybe that's why it just looks like a lot. I'm going to read you guys the blurb, and then I'll read you what I have in my reading journal, and then we'll try and break it down a little bit. I'm not trying to be here for an hour. Okay, so the blurb for this one says, "The first time I saw him, he entranced me and offered to help me forget my broken engagement. The second time was on a blind date with no last names and undeniable passion." Yeah, there was. "The third time, I was 8 months pregnant with his baby he knew nothing about. This time, he's not letting me walk away so easily." That's literally the entire blurb. Now, here's what I appreciate about this book. Fiona puts in the actual like title on Amazon. It has the book title, which is another, obviously. And then in parentheses, it says, "A surprise pregnancy romance." So if pregnancy trope is not your trope, you would click off right there. There would be no getting into the book, realizing it's got pregnancy trope, and then we're giving it a bad review, right? So I appreciate the fact that she did that. She probably saved herself a lot of 1 stars from people who just don't care for that trope. I personally love that trope. I have come to the realization recently that I might be getting into the breeding kink. More on that later. Stay tuned. But I love and have always loved pregnancy trope. Surprise pregnancy, surprise baby trope. Like unknown, I didn't know I had a kid and he's already like 5 years old because she ran from me. Okay, I love that. I love it. Okay. But for a lot of people, it's not their jam. And not, like, I understand that. Everybody likes different things, right? You're missing out though, because there are a lot of good books that have pregnancy trope in them, and they're really good. They're really good. Okay, so, oh no, okay, interesting. Okay, no, if you want to purchase the trade paperback for this book, it is actually going to cost $18.98. I said before $14.99. I don't know why they've gone up in price, but that's a significant price jump. That's nearly $4. That's like $4. So I don't know. Maybe this series is like, because these books didn't just come out. I'm literally late to the party, so I don't know if maybe they're having like a second wave of popularity or something, and so now they cost more. But there you go. $18.98 if you want to own this trade paperback. Now, I'm going to read you guys my notes. This whole video has been so fucking chaotic already. I feel so manic and frazzled. Fucking chill, okay? Chill out, Candice. All right. So this is what I wrote for the plot in my reading journal. Karina meets Ian for first time in bar on night that Jake and Jackson have their come together breaking moment. He offers to take her to hotel. Fuck's sake. My shorthand is literally kills me every time. And I keep doing it because I only have so much space in this book to take notes. I mean, I have a lot of space for the average person, but I'm not the average person. I take a lot of notes. Okay. Later, her aunts sign her up for blind date boudoir photo shoot for gift. Finds out blind date is Ian. They have sex in dressing room. My laughter is literally shaking my camera. Great. Then she leaves without giving him her number. Okay. Finds out 6 weeks later she's pregnant. Does all she can to locate him, but can't. When she's 8 months pregnant, she meets him again as other half of Eric's, and then in parentheses I put book 3, company. He's shocked to see her pregnant, but knows it's his and wants it. She's hesitant, already resigned to being a single mother. That's all I wrote. That's when I stopped taking notes. For the individual characteristics for Karina and Ian, this is what I wrote. Karina, control freak. Father runs marketing company with Jake. She's set to take over his half when he dies. Ex-Jake left her for Jackson. Ian, this is what I put for Ian, part owner of software company. Been in London. Absentee parents. Okay, so as you can see, this is a surprise pregnancy trope. The main two characters. So if you remember, at the end of, what the fuck book was it? Lovers. We already knew Karina. She was in that entire book. She was part of the throuple that was Jake, Jackson, and Karina. She was engaged to Jake. He left her for Jackson because he fell in love. He was always in love with Jackson. Let's be honest. Throughout that entire book, I hated Karina. I hate to say it, but I did. I hated her. And that was only, I think, because I wanted Jake and Jackson to be together. Just like I did in, okay, and this is where I differed from Give Me More by Sarah Kate. In that book, at the beginning, I hated Isabel, but she grew on me. And when it was becoming apparent that she was going to attempt to end the book as the three of them being happy together and getting an HEA, I started to get attached to Isabel. I warmed up to her, right? And by the end of the book, I really liked her. That never happened for Karina. And I think that was because I knew in my heart of hearts that it wasn't going to end as a throuple book. It was going to end with either Jake picking Jackson or Karina. If he had picked Karina, I would have rioted. I would have quit the series immediately. But I didn't. I stuck with it. And he picked Jackson, which is as it should have been. And Karina was just left kind of like floating in the wind, right? So when she comes to the realization at the end of Lovers that her fiance is in love with Jackson, she has like a breakdown. And she ends up in a bar where she meets a slightly older, distinguished gentleman who offers to fuck the woes out of her. And she declines because, she's like classy like that. But he basically tells her, like, you're beautiful. You should never be second choice for anyone. You deserve to be somebody's first choice. And it gives her like a confidence boost that basically gets her through the rest of the book. Now, she doesn't give him her number. She doesn't get his name in the bar. She gives him a kiss, like a thank you type kiss. Not like overly like sexual, but just her showing her gratitude for his kind words and for making her feel better in her time of need, right? But after that, they can't stop thinking about each other. It's like on the back burner of their minds for both of them. Then they each have meddling friends or family who sign them up for this like boudoir photo shoot session as a gift. It was like a Christmas gift for Ian or something, and I think it's like for Karina's birthday or something, right? So they go, they see each other there. Obviously she recognizes him from the jump. He's like, I know your face from somewhere. And eventually he gets it. Like it clicks. Now, they do the photo shoot where they're just like, they take sexy pictures together. But throughout the posing of the bodies in the picture, they essentially turn each other on. And eventually, after the photo shoot, when they're supposed to be changing back into their regular street clothes, they end up having sex in the dressing room. He doesn't have a condom. He's clearly not thinking about birth control or anything else. He's overwhelmed with desire, right? And he basically skeets that life into her. Anyway, you can tell that I'm not classy. Now, after that, after their little sexcapade, they have like some flirty banter back and forth, and then she just walks out. And he's like, tell me your name, give me your number. And she's like, no. Thank you for the really, really amazing sex, but I gotta go. She gets in her car and she drives away, and he doesn't know who she is or have her phone number or anything else. 6 weeks later, she finds out she's pregnant. She realizes that it's his, obviously, as I said in my notes. She knows who the daddy is, but she doesn't know who the daddy is, right? She does everything she can think of to try and contact him to let him know she's pregnant. Like she contacts the boudoir company or the photo shoot, the photographer. She hits a bunch of dead ends and she can't find him. So she realizes, at first she's terrified because I'm single. I don't have anyone else to rely on. My father's gonna think that I'm like some flaky floozy, right? And she's already has like a complex when it comes to having to prove herself and having to represent the female gender. Like she has like, especially like in the workplace, she's very oppressed by her father. And her father treats her like, he has like this backwards mentality that like women belong in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, right? That's his mentality. She has worked her ass off in the company to take over for him when he either dies or retires. Now, he's still in charge and treats her like a second class citizen when it comes to the work. The men know best. And yeah, okay, pat on the head, Karina. Okay, right, he treats her like that. So she has always had to prove herself. And she's reaching a point in her life now where she's running out of fucks to give. Like she's starting to stand up for herself. She's starting to assert herself when it comes to doing things behind her father's back, taking on clients. Like she's doing what she's doing her, right? She's doing whatever the fuck she wants. And damn the consequences, right? But she also knows that if she keeps the child, her whole life is going to change. She resigns herself to being a single parent when she can't locate Ian. She decides, obviously, she wants to keep the baby. And for the next 8 months, she goes through life as normal. Like, she goes to her doctor's appointments, she continues to work, she's pregnant. Throughout this entire time, she's working with Eric from book 3, who is one half of something in Bergamo. I forget Eric's last name. Brant and Bergamo. Okay, she's never met the Bergamo half because he's been in London the entire time she was pregnant. He was working in their London office on some project over there. He comes back from London. Eric tells him, we have a meeting with the rep from, I forget the company that her father and Jake own. But anyway, a rep from there. We're meeting with her and she'll be here soon. Ian's chill. He doesn't care. He's fine. In walks Karina. She sees Eric first, so she starts talking to Eric. She doesn't see Ian. He's off to the side on like the couch. When she walks in 8 months pregnant and he sees her and he goes, oh my God, it's you. And then he sees her stomach. And I think book 3 ends with him literally pointing her to her stomach and going, what the fuck is that? Fiona is very eloquent. I loved it. I was so here for at first his shock over the fact that he's going to be a dad. And then, oh my God, his devotion from that point on to not only his child, but to Karina was so fucking endearing. I was in love with him. I was like, okay. I came into this book not wanting to read it. I'm gonna be honest. Because I didn't really care for Karina. I never became emotionally attached to her in the other book. Ian made this entire book for me. I still won't say Karina is my favorite, but her and Ian together, I loved it. I loved it so much. So obviously she has the baby and he tells her, you don't have to do this alone. I want to be there for my child. I want to be part of his or her life. They end up having a daughter, Audrey, and oh my God, my ovaries exploded because of the way he treated her. He was obsessed with his daughter. His daughter was everything. She was everything to him. I mean, Karina was there. She was there too. And she obviously meant something as well. But his devotion to his child, I couldn't get over it. So a lot of it is rooted in his parents being very absent as he grew up. Anytime there was a birthday, anytime Christmas came, and they were never there for him. He was basically raised by nannies, and his parents were always off like jet setting somewhere around the globe on a holiday or whatever. They're obviously uber rich. So he knows what it's like to pine for parental affection, and he never wants his daughter to feel that way about him. So he literally goes out of his way to be the opposite of his parents. He wants to be there every step of the way, every day. They end up moving in together. I don't remember if up to this point they've had sex again. I don't think so, but he ends up persuading her to move out of her little Cracker Jack apartment after he's literally lived on her couch for like 3 months. And he's miserable, but he wants to be with his child. So he's been there every day. And eventually he tells her, listen, we got so much baby shit in here. I'm sleeping on the sofa. My apartment is humongous. Move in with me. He eventually convinces her, and she does. And from that point on, their relationship starts to like really grow. She comes to depend on him. She realizes that he's genuine in the way that he wants to be there for Audrey. And obviously they start to have sex. And it's very hot. Ian Ian is a mixture of like goofy, jokey, takes nothing serious type guy, but also has his moments of very intense and very earnest. And the combination was, oh God, I loved him so much. That's all I can say, is I loved him so much. So obviously they go through it and they end up together, obviously. And I loved it. Karina's father eventually loosens his reins and allows her to, he doesn't really allow her, she takes it. She takes it. Karina is a take charge, no nonsense bitch. Okay? She knows what she wants about 98% of the time. And damn you if you get in her way or try and stop her from getting it. So when it comes to the work, she just decides, I'm just gonna do shit behind his back. And he'll find out when he finds out. Jake is a willing participant in helping her essentially come into her own. Jake has a lot of guilt when it comes to the fact that he chose Jackson over her. He still feels guilty about it, and he feels like he has to go out of his way or do what he can to help her move on or just be okay with it, because they have to see each other every day. So he essentially supports every decision that she decides to make work-wise. And when her father eventually finds out and wants to be pissed off about it, Jake's just like, nah. I knew what she was doing. She knows what she's doing. She's good at her job. Leave her alone. And he does. I think her and her dad eventually, at some point they come to blows verbally, where she's just like, you have to stop. You have to stop treating me like a child. Stop thinking that just because I'm a woman, I can't do things. And she puts him in his place, and he backs down. And she comes into her own. And a lot of that has to do with Ian's influence. He's so supportive of her, and so never, not once does he naysay anything about her personality. Like, nothing that she wants to do with her life, none of the decisions that she makes. He puts his trust and the life of his daughter into her hands and accepts the fact that you're her mother. You know what's best for her. You're going to make the decisions. And I'm here, I'm along for the ride, basically. And as opposed to being like, that's my child, I have a say in what happens to her. No, never did he do that. And I was like, why don't you exist in real life? You're like the perfect man. Be here to support me, but don't tell me what the fuck to do. Right? But yeah, so Ian made this book for me. Eventually I did come around to Karina. But for me, it was everything. Ian was everything. Anyway, for the rating of the book, I would give it a solid 9. I did enjoy it. I did like it. I do think that it was a good addition to the series. And after what happened in book 2, Karina needed an HEA because to leave her hanging would have been wrong, right? And as I said before, I love surprise pregnancy trope, so I was here for it. I loved it. So yeah, I would recommend this book to other people. I would recommend this series to other people. I loved this series. Like I've spent so much money on trade paperbacks. It's ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I think that's about it. I've left out a whole bunch, but you don't need to know every plot point because you're gonna read it or listen to it. You should. You should listen to it. I mean, Teddy Hamilton. And even though I've done so much Teddy Hamilton lately, he's still got like, he got that voice, you know what I'm saying? Delish. So, just do it. Take my advice. Take my word for it and just do it. Okay? I think that's it. If you like me and you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I am very active on Instagram, although I also have a members only Facebook group and a Twitter. I will link them all in the description box below and put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. If you are interested in purchasing some of my bookish merch, don't look at my fat arms. I do have this design and many others in my Teespring shop, which I will link in the description box below and I will put here on the screen for you guys to see. And yeah, I think that's it. I love you so much and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. Buongiorno, my little babies. I'm not Italian. I've never been Italian. Why am I doing that? I don't know. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh my God, my phone is vibrating so much. I just posted something on Instagram and so naturally, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm getting a lot of likes and stuff. Okay, anyway. Candice, pull your head out of your own ass. Focus on what we're supposed to be doing. We're just gonna say, I'm gonna be very honest and I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna be, the second time was on a blind date with no net. You dumb bitch. Okay. Get your shit together. Can you hear that fucking bird? I live in the woods, y'all. Okay. And another one down, and another one down, another one bites the dust. I don't have this book with me either. Amazon be fucking me up lately, yo. Why am I so parched? I don't need any more sugar, as you can clearly see. I gotta go. I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Clickety click it. Can you hear that? I don't think it's supposed to do that. Maybe that's why it takes me 15 clicks to get this thing to turn off. My life is so put together. Anyway, okay. I love you so much. I'll see you.